I realized a lot of my anxiety isn't about like what's going on in my life. It's more so about forgetting who I am. I recently had a baby about a year ago, and I feel like that spiraled me into this epiphany of realizing that it's easy to forget who you are, and then it's easy to like forget that you're forgetting who you are. So I'm kind of like, I've been going on this journey of like self discovery and rediscovering who I am and trying to get back to that person that I was like when I was a kid before anything disrupted my view of myself. Like I said, it's easy to forget who you are when there's so much going on. Like when you're trying to, it kind of starts maybe in high school, like when you start trying to fit in with your friends, or like you want to make friends. So you start doing things that kind of like make you feel like you're fitting in with your friends, and you start losing little bits and pieces of yourself and start picking up things that you see along the way, and it's like you start becoming something else, and you're not that little girl anymore who kind of was just selfless and did everything just, and you were just exactly who you were like when you were a kid. And so I feel like it started in high school for me, because I switched schools when I was going to high school, so I didn't have any friends going into freshman year. I remember my first day of freshman year. I was so corny for this because it's like I was thinking in my head like I'm about to be so corny, but I literally went in the bathroom and sat in the bathroom during lunch because I didn't know anybody. But by the end of the year, I literally made a bunch of friends, but also I realized, like, looking back, I kind of did things that were not myself then. And then I feel like it kind of carried on throughout college, where I like made friends by, just becoming what I thought people thought I was, if that makes sense. Like just accepting whatever perception people had of me, and I was just accepting that and becoming that full fledged. And yeah, also I was just in a very long term relationship from high school through college, and that also kind of made me forget who I was, just trying to please the person that I was with and trying to prove to everybody else around me like that relationship was real. Um, yeah, and so like I said, it's just little bits and pieces of me just falling off, and like I'm literally becoming whatever other people perceive me as. That's what I started perceiving myself as. And I felt like I was becoming, I want to say, a people pleaser, but I started caring more about what people said. And I kind of like, but the thing about me is, it's like I'm gonna play the villain. So if somebody says like I'm some type of way, I'm gonna become that way just because like I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to explain it, but just because it's like, okay, bet you think I'm mean, I'm gonna show you mean. You think I'm this, I'm gonna show you that. And because it feels like other people's perceptions are always negative, so I was kind of like, okay, bet I'm gonna be that. And it just started. I started to realize after I graduated. This was after I graduated college, and I really didn't start realizing that I needed to change until the pandemic. I feel like everybody came to some sort of conclusion during the pandemic. Like, if you didn't, I don't know. But like during the pandemic, we were in that house, and I was like discovering all these things, and I'm like, dang, maybe I do need to change, maybe I do need to start remembering who I am. And I kind of started picking up back then, like doing things that I like. That's when I started my clothing brand for the first time. And I was very like able to express myself creatively, and just I was doing yoga, and I was reading, and I was journaling, and I was reading my Bible. I was just really working on myself. And then of course, like, cause it's like I do this every time, but it's like a up and down thing of remembering who you are and rediscovering yourself. So it's like sometimes you pick it up and sometimes you put it down. And I'm trying to get to the point where I stop putting it down, because when you put it down, it's like you kind of low key like you have to start over, because it takes time. You have to train yourself to remember who you are throughout situations, because you need those like certain situations to test you. And when you're being tested and you're not actually practicing, or, you know, you're not working on yourself, trust me, you're gonna fail that test. Um, but yeah, anyways, during the pandemic, I worked on myself a lot, and that's when I started to realize my worth. I stopped dating. I wasn't dating for a while. Like, I didn't start back dating until like 2022. And then I kind of lost myself again because I ended up dating my ex again. And that's another topic. Like, we're gonna get into relationships and everything as well, because this is all a journey. And like, if I can give anybody keys and tips, and if you want to take them or if you want to learn on your own, whatever, but I'm gonna give y'all the keys and tips to survive these things. But yeah, got back in a relationship. I didn't quite lose myself as much as boundaries. Like, I knew how to stick to my boundaries this time around, but I also still was just trying to make sure that everybody else around me was pleased and happy, and just trying to make sure that I was always putting on a front like, oh, I'm happy, even during times I was happy. But it's like, during the times when I wasn't happy, it's like, it's still good to be able to express that and have somebody to talk to, but I would just keep it all buried in. I ended up leaving that relationship again. You can bet on it that I felt like I didn't know who I was yet again. And so I went on a journey again to just reclaiming myself. But I feel like I wasn't getting as deep as I have been getting now. So it's like everything was kind of surface level then. And then after meeting my boyfriend and having my kid, I feel like I need to dig deeper and actually get to the root of learning myself again, like actually like actively doing the work, like doing these journal prompts and just really writing it out, and like writing out who is it that I want to be and things like that. So I've been working really hard on those things. I feel like motherhood shifted a lot of those things for me. Like, it's because you have to decide, who do you want your child to see you as? And it's like, I don't want my child to be like, grow up and be like, well, my mom was just full of anxiety. Like, she was always like, just not, she didn't know who she was. Like, I want him to be like, my mom always knew who she was, and my mom was this and my mom was that. Like, I wanted him to have a good perception of me. So that is something that really shifted my view on discovering who I am. And I realized a lot of the time, and everybody may do this, it's like, we're performing. We're putting on a show. And I feel like maybe it's because we grew up, I'm a millennial, so it's like I grew up right when social media started hitting its prime with like Instagram and Twitter and all of that. So it's like, we grew up in a time where like we were normal. But like I said, when we were going into high school, when you go into high school and then you have something like Instagram, where it's like you can portray yourself as one thing online and you can make it fit whatever perception you wanted to, I feel like that really shifted everything for everybody too. Like, made us perform more instead of just being ourselves, because I really feel like I just have not been myself, like, just completely freely since I was a little girl, and I really truly miss that feeling. Also, with like growing up and having kids and being in a relationship, it's like you start to lose like your creativity a little bit. Like, I was way more just freely creative when I was a kid, and now it's like I have to think on it more. It's because I'm just consuming too much. I'm consuming too much instead of just creating. And so that's what I'm trying to do now with this channel and Everyday Girl. I'm just trying to be creative and put out more. Like, I feel like my voice is a gift and I need to use it. Like, this is what I feel like, this is what God is pushing me to do, because along this journey of like losing myself and like losing my self-worth, I feel like, because I put my self-worth into a lot of things. I put it into a relationship, I put it into a job, I put it into being a mom. Like, I feel like if those things are failing, then I'm not worthy of certain things, and that's because I don't know who I am. And so that's why I'm on this journey again, to just learn who I am. And this is why I'm bringing y'all along with me, because I want y'all to be able to do the same, especially by summer. It's winter right now. And in the winter, we go through seasonal depression. I'm usually in Houston, but now in New York City. That's another thing that made me like, let me get myself together, because coming here, I have seasonal depression. You're in the house more, it's cold outside. Compared to in Houston, I could kind of coast by everything, not really deal with my emotions and my feelings because it's always summer pretty much. But yeah, I think those are the triggers that made me realize I need to discover who I am. And I feel like you guys have to do the same. You have to decide and figure out, what are your triggers. Is it like your environment? Is it your job? Is it your relationship? Like, what are your triggers, and what are the things that are making you feel like, you aren't enough or you aren't worthy? And then use those things to start discovering what it is you need to be yourself, if that makes sense. If that makes sense. I wrote a Substack on this topic. It's called Remembering Who I Am, and I kind of talk about the same things. And also, I talk about how one of my favorite influencers online, it was the Hood Healer. She made a post literally the day I was like typing up my Substack, Remembering Who I Am, and she said that like knowing like your spiritual significance of your name can help you remember who you are. And so I like went to ChatGPT and I'm like, what is the spiritual significance of my name? And it was just saying so many things that just reminded me, like it literally was like a That's So Raven moment. Like it took me back and it just reminded me of who I was as a kid. And like, it's like, okay, these feelings that I have are not for no reason. Like I feel certain ways for a reason. Anyway, so yeah, I started doing that, and then I also wrote down a few journal prompts, which is what I'm looking at, that I'm gonna give you guys, that maybe you can write down and try to figure out, and start remembering who you are. So this was November 25th. The first journal prompt that I wrote was, who am I? And that's a tough question. When you ask yourself, when you write down, who am I? You got to sit there and think like, oh, who am I? But I just spoke about like how I thought I knew who I was, I think I really just started getting comfortable in the idea of like just trying to ignore people's perceptions, not let people's perceptions of me affect me. And I kind of got like, that's just where it started and stopped for me. So like if I feel like somebody's perceiving me in a wrong way, I completely just shut down. Like I don't want to hear it. But like I don't think I got any deeper than that. And like I said, after having a kid, it made me want to go deeper. And now I just want to take a conscious effort to actually learn who I am, what are the things that I like, and write those down and like start going on that journey and figuring it out. Another prompt that you guys can ask yourself is, who are you when no one's watching? And I feel like when nobody's watching, I can be very like, I'm silly, I'm creative, I'm fun. And then I have those days where, I just like to be alone. I like to sit in the bed and watch movies all day. I love a romantic comedy. I love rom-coms. I love romance movies, TV shows. I like fairy tales and feeling like I can escape. Like I love to just sit in my bed and escape with a good rom-com or a romantic show. I also love comedy movies. Like I love movies. I'm trying to lean more into books because the TV and then having a kid, it's not that easy. He wants to watch certain things and I want to watch certain things. So yeah, that's who I am. I feel like I'm softer when nobody's watching. It says I'm a person who craves friendships and relationships, but I also don't know how to express that to people. So those are things that I need to start working on, obviously. The next prompt was 5 words that best describe the woman I want to be. First thing that I wrote down is, I want to be confident. Confidence is something that you got to work on every day. You have to work on it every day. And I think it's just the little things, like for me right now, just getting up, getting dressed, putting on my makeup, doing my hair, those automatically make me feel like, okay, I need to, I can go out there and I can get stuff done. I can be confident. I am confident. So that's just the start, for me. And then for number 2, I put something that would describe the woman I want to be is successful. I've been craving success. Like, I want to be successful. And it doesn't mean like money wise, but I just want my voice to be heard. I want to be, known for inspiring people. I think a lot of people are kind of getting off of influencers, and the thing about me is I never wanted to be an influencer. I always wanted to be somebody who inspired somebody else. I feel like it's a difference, because this can be another video topic for another day, but let me just get into this right now, because I feel like we're even in that era of people are tired of influencers. I do not want to be an influencer. I don't want to be on here influencing you to buy the latest makeup or get your teeth done or get Botox or whatever the case may be, like things that have to deal with other people's perception. I'm on here to inspire you to move to another city, I'm on here to inspire you to apply for those jobs. I'm on here to inspire you to start a YouTube channel, to post the content, to do things with your child. You know, I'm inspiring you to pick up your Bible, get to know God. Like, those are things that I want to do. Like, I want to inspire and be successful in that. So that's what I'm working on too. Clacking. The woman I want to be is loving and caring. I feel like I kind of, which a lot of people may also agree, like we grew up in environments where, at least if you're my age, and even if you're younger or older, whatever, you can probably relate. Like, certain things in your childhood shape you to be the way that you are, and you may feel like, oh, I didn't grow up in a loving and caring environment, or like maybe you had a parent who was just always at work and you didn't feel the love or as cared for, even though like they love you and care for you. It's still kind of hard being able to show that to somebody else. And yeah, I've had things, in my childhood, in my past, that maybe are affecting the way that I love and care for my family. And I'm trying to get to the bottom of that so that I can be a loving and caring woman. I want to be that. I do. Which I am. I'm just a little hard sometimes. And I'm trying to shake that. Or at least I don't express my emotions all the time. And I'm trying to get used to that, get over that. Fourth thing I put was inspirational. I definitely love to inspire people to do things. Like, I'm from a place where some people never leave their hometown. My boyfriend's from a place where some people never leave their hometown. And to think we are in New York, like very far away from our hometown, and like we're gonna be starting a family. Like, we have a family here, but like generations from now, our family is gonna say that they're from New York, pretty much. So that's just one thing that I want to inspire people to do, is chase your dreams. I always want somebody to just chase your dreams, because what else are we doing? We're on a floating rock. We're on a floating rock, babe. I don't know what to tell you. Like, if you're not chasing your dreams, you might as well just never mind. But anyways, and then the last thing I put is genuine. I always want to be genuine and real. That's one thing I've never wanted to be. Like, I don't want nobody out here talking about, oh, she fake, she fake, she fake, because no, I'm being me, and that's all I know how to be right now. So I just always want to remember, just be you, be genuine, and if something is meant for you, it'll be for you. I'm going to list off a few more journal prompts. I'm going to explain every single one, because I'm also going to leave a link below so that you guys can download these journal prompts and be working on them, as we continue on our journey. But a few more that I wrote is, okay, so we named the 5 things that describe the woman that you want to be, and then you answer, how close are you to her today? And then another thing is, what makes me feel the most like me? What do you value more than anything right now? What is a belief about myself that no longer serves me? What do I need to forgive myself for so that I can move forward? Yeah, I think that's it. Those are just some things that I wrote down in my journal and I answered. And yeah, it's helping me a lot. It's just reminding me every day of who it is that I want to be. And then once you have those things down and you feel like you got just a little bit to start working on, just start. Just start. Like, if you pick any one of those prompts, write them down and just start, then we can get this ball rolling. I think the very first important step to starting over is remembering who you are. Like, I'm telling y'all, because you will forget. You forget who you are. And I'm here to remind you that you are that girl, and we're going to do this together, and we got this, and we're going to be on this journey of rediscovering ourselves together. So if you want to continue on this journey with me, then make sure that you're subscribing to my channel, Everyday Girl NYC. I'm also Everyday Girl NYC on Substack, and then on Instagram is everydaygirl.nyc, and that's where I post inspirational posts just on a daily. And then my personal Instagram is Shell Parker, which is where I'll be posting a lot of the links to these YouTube videos and just regular day-to-day stuff. But thank you guys for watching, and please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what else you want to talk about. I definitely will be back. I'm dropping these videos every Sunday, so I hope y'all stay on this journey with me. Bye.